Lateral mass screw, if you go through the literature, the single conclusion which is there is it's easy, safe, and effective. Single point in all the literature you find this. So that itself shows that we had little alternatives for cervical fixations long back, and everybody had mastered it in some way or other, and we are able to manage it in a very good way. So it's a very quite simple thing which can be done. But of course, any surgery will always be associated with certain problems or complications which can never approach, say, zero. Something is always going to be there. And usually what you see is the injuries. So injuries, in particular, what we are seeing about in the lateral mass is the root injuries, or we are talking about the vertebral artery. The cord, it cannot get injured if you are a spine surgeon in a lateral mass, so I'm not talking about that. And second is what you have is the fracture, inadvertent trajectories, a splinter happening. So that's why you need to be doing it in a proper way to avoid a fracture or a damage to the pars itself, lateral mass itself. And thirdly is that if you have put it in a good way, you have a good strength. So the whole video or discussion is about having these 3 points in the center of discussion. Now, just to have a brief idea about our anatomical thing itself, this is the lateral mass which is there, which is actually connecting the superior articular process and the inferior articular process, and it is broadened and wider below. And we have a groove which is there, and that groove is the medial facet line groove, and your safe zone is on the lateral aspect. So you are completely avoiding the cord, and here is where the root is exiting. Here exactly this is the point where the root exits, and this root traverses as two parts. Say there is a ventral one which is going here. At the same time there is one thing which is going dorsal along the sulcus. So the point of entry is somewhere on the parts in the lower part. You are directing it roughly parallelly along the superior facet, and your exit point you want to make somewhere here. So this is what you are aiming at, and if you are able to do it bicortically and avoid the artery here and avoid the ventral ramus here, the root, you are safe. So that is the only thing you have to actually take care in putting this screw. Pre-operative assessment, basically you need not do with a CT scan in this case, because everybody is well acquainted to do a clinically guided lateral mass screw. But to have a brief overview of things, if you have a CT scan, the idea is the mediolateral width of the lateral mass, it keeps on decreasing as you go from above to below. At the same time, the height, it is decreasing, the height keeps on increasing. That's the way how the lateral mass behaves. But at the width, the anteroposterior thickness is more in the superior part. So this much amount of thing you have to know. That is on CT scan to make a overview. The other thing is that the foramina transversorium having the vertebral artery is just in front of it. For the upper cervical spine, the vertebral artery is just medial from the center point of the lateral mass. So it is even more better that in the upper cervical spine you are safer. But towards C6 and 7, there is a little bit more lateralization of the foramina transversorium. So you need to be more lateralizing the screws. So this is the only understanding gross you need to know for putting the screws, the lateral mass. Position is as simple as all detail discussed. So you can use a Mayfield or a prone position. After exposure, the procedure of putting the screw, you have to time it. This is very important in case of lateral mass, because if you are doing a decompression, you are susceptible that you are susceptibilizing the cord to any inadvertent injury by a slippage or anything, by a burr or anything. So it is better that you do a decompression later. That's a important point to be always remembered. At the same time, the fusion bed preparation, because you are doing screws for getting a fusion amongst the vertebrae which you are including, you have to prepare the screw holes, and before putting the screws, it is better to you prepare the fusion bed in a proper way, because after putting the screws you don't get enough of space to make it, and that's the better way to do. So this sequencing becomes important. And exposure has to be as lateral to expose the complete of the lateral mass. And once you are exposing it, you have to take care that you are not exposing the capsules which are not part of the fusion. So this becomes an important consideration. The step important, the most important is making an entry point. And there is a lot of discussions and lot of methods which had been given, and the standard being Roy Camilli, Magrel, Anderson, and N. And there are so many modifications on those by millimeters of their shift, at the same time by the trajectories which is used. And most of the things as of now, the literature, even one of the Park Clinic publications which shows that the entry needs to be divided into 4 quadrants, which is well known since long, and it has to be more inframedial quadrant, and then you direct your trajectory towards the supralateral quadrant. In fact, this publication has said that you go in the lower side and make the trajectory. Whatever the entry point is made, the inframedial quadrant is to be chosen. So either on this line, after you make a cross centering the mass, identifying the superior facet and the inferior facetal line, and then you make a cross over it midline. So on the midline, this is the point. Either you go directly shifting here, or you go here, or you go more medial or even more inferior. But this trajectory has to go from the inframedial quadrant to the anterolateral quadrant. So this is the whole guidance you want. And something you can use as a guide is some clinical parameters is needed. Either you are using a fluoroscopy to guide yourself, so you park a image intensifier in and you use the direction of the facet joint to go parallel to it. That is one marker which is used by most. At the same time, the clinical guide which you use is the spinous process or the lamina. The grossly, for putting a pedicle screw, the angulation what you medially put is around 35 to 50 degrees rough for all levels what you do. The same way, if you want to put a lateral mass safely, what you want to do is you want to completely go parallel to the lamina, because lamina is nearly 50 degrees parallel to the horizontal axis. So, but going so close and so parallel is nearly impossible, because the spinous process is protruding out back. So what you have to do is, many a times with the bulbous spinous process, you need to remove a part of the spinous process to get more flatter and a trajectory which is more good to get into the anterolateral corner. So people use either the spinous process as a guide for lateralizing. At the same time, there are people who use the inferior lamina also for lateralizing. Either of them can be used. For sagittal guidance, if you are not using an image intensifier, the best way is to use a straight dissector, put it into the joint which you are already including into the fusion mass, because that will give you a direction as to how to keep parallel to the facet joint. So making pilot hole is the first thing. You make the pilot hole at the decided inframedial quadrant of it. We have stopped doing nearly the clinically guided things because we have navigations, and this is a navigation frame which we have fixed, but for the sake of recording, I have done this. So what you do is you make an entry point there, and this is a matched drill bit there. So this can directly be directed anterolaterally along the parameters which you mentioned. We have nibbled out the spinous process there for more lateralization there, and taking a trajectory which is parallel to the lamina, resting on the inferior laminospinous region. But as I said, this process becomes very good and easy if you have nibbled a part of the spinous process. This is a matched head drill bit. You can directly direct this anterolaterally, but if you are using a routine drill bit, the thing is that you usually have to make a straight entry first in the inframedial quadrant, and once that entry is made, then only you use a drill bit or a owl to make an entry, because with a burr, if you try to do it directly, or with an owl you do it directly without making that pilot hole which has to be vertically made, you are going to splinter the facet. So that is a very important thing. This I am doing because I am using a matched head drill bit. This is different. This is for navigation. So that is the difference when you are using with navigation and open. So that is the first step, and the same thing is guiding you through the lateral mass. And so this is the other side. So this is what you put with the same thing into the anterolateral corner. There is no change in the instrument when you are navigating it. It's the same thing for making the pilot hole, same thing for guiding it further. All is on screen. I'm not putting that screen in here because clinically we want to discuss it out. The next step that comes is the measurement with a depth gauge, because this needs to be a bicortical screw. So a correct measurement with depth gauge use is especially important only in the lateral mass where you are putting a bicortical screw. Otherwise, we sparingly use for spine. We all have passed that orthopedic learning. So measure it and use a size of it, and that too, after that you have done, you have to use a tape to go through the same direction, and once taping is done, lastly you put the screw across. You decide the appropriate screw and then put. So taping is also equally important because the chances of splinter is too high in lateral mass. So you want to avoid all the injuries, at the same time you want to avoid fractures, and you have to have a bicortical purchase. And one of the more important steps which has to be remembered in this case is, for putting any screw, the screw head should not sit on the bone. It has to be kept half turn to 1 turn prominent. If it sits on the bone, it is likely to get loosened. One, because it breaks off, or it comes off, pops it out. So that is very important, that the last half thread is left unturned. This is a very important step in the lateral mass. Again, rod insertion, we have to take care that whenever we are putting the rods, we have to take care that all are aligned and softly tightened first before finally tightening, because we have a usual habit of making a final tight in the lumbars and dorsal spine. Here you need to be very careful, because the directions of the screws may be varying by a very small factor. Though they are poly, if you tighten it at one place for accommodating, the screw may pull out for the other regions. So you have to softly tighten first and then do the final tightening in the next step. Thank you.